My name is Julie. I'm an admissions counselor here at Niagara University, and I just wanted to say congratulations to everyone for being accepted to Niagara, especially for being accepted into our business programs. We're really excited to talk a lot about it with you guys today. We have the Dean of Business with us this afternoon, and we're going to start with him, Dr. Mark Frascatore, and then we're going to go on to Dr. Renzel, and also a business student as well. And then after that, we're going to give everyone an opportunity to introduce themselves as well, too. So again, everyone, just a couple housekeeping rules. If you can, just turn your voice off while we're doing this until it's time. But at the bottom here, if you want to go to chat throughout the presentation, you can type in some questions because we will have time to answer those questions too. That's the purpose of this. It's going to be kind of fun and exciting and informal, so we can just bounce ideas off of each other. And I'm happy so many of you have decided to join us today. So thank you so much. Let's start with Dr. Frascatore, the Dean of the College of Business.
Great, thank you. Can you hear me? Just do a quick check.
Yes.
Okay, good. Hi, everybody. I'm Mark Frascatore. I'm the Dean of the College of Business. I'm just going to introduce myself quickly now and then let the others introduce themselves. And then after that, we're going to come back and do a little bit more in-depth talk about the college, our programs, and everything else that we have to offer. So again, I'm Mark Frascatore, Dean of the College of Business. And as Julie said, by the way, as we go through this, please don't hesitate to type a question in, and Julie will moderate that. She'll see the questions, and then she'll ask them and bring them up later, and we'll be happy to answer anything you have to say. So I'll turn it over to Ann Renzel now, our Associate Dean.
Hi, I'm Ann Renzel. As Mark said, I am the Associate Dean of the College of Business. I'm also an Associate Professor in the Management Department, and my area of expertise and where I teach is in the Information Systems area. So I'll be coming back a little bit later, and I'll talk a little bit to you with regard about the majors and things that the college offers in the way of academics. Okay.
Hi, I'm Kirsten Kulakowski. I am a freshman management major, and my concentration is in human resources.
And where did you go to high school, Kirsten?
I went to Lancaster High School. I'm from Lancaster, New York.
Okay, perfect. So we'll talk a little bit more about that later, but I know that you do live on campus, so that's kind of exciting to talk about too. What I wanted to do briefly is hopefully have Dr. Frascatore tell us a little bit about the College of Business and then go on from there, and then we'll do more introductions of students.
Okay, sure. So as I said, I'm the Dean of the College of Business. I've been here for about 2 years now. I'm actually originally from the area. I went to Kenmore East High School. If any locals, you might know that. As being here 2 years, what my main goal to do is to strengthen and to increase the visibility of our academic programs, to get them nationally ranked, and also to use that to increase the placement of our students. We have a wide variety of majors that we offer. Dr. Renzel will talk in a little bit more detail about them in a moment. But we have majors in accounting, economics, finance, management, and marketing, and various concentrations in minors as well. So like I said, Dr. Renzel will talk a little bit more about that. We also have a wide variety of clubs and other academics, other non-academic organizations that you can be involved with. And Kirsten, I think, will talk a little bit more about that as we go through. So as we talk, like Julie said, please type your questions in. If anything pops in your mind, you'll also have a chance to verbally ask questions a little bit later. So we'll be happy to answer anything that you have.
Thank you, Dr. Frascatore. So Dr. Renzel?
So hi, everyone. First of all, thanks for joining this afternoon. We had a few technical difficulties getting in, but we're good now, so this works. So in the college, we have several majors, and so I'm just going to start with the top and kind of go in alphabetical order, a little bit about each, and just give you a little bit of an idea exactly about what you can do and how you can think about pursuing one of these majors or what the careers are. So first of all, we'll start with accounting. Our accounting program is a very solid program. I'm not sure if anyone in the group is interested in this. However, We're very fortunate to have everyone on our accounting staff carrying a CPA certification, with the exception of one faculty member. So that provides a really deep knowledge of the field and how to move into public accounting. And we also have a great deal of expertise in what we call managerial accounting. So we have a broad base there. We offer a unique minor in this area, which is the fraud minor. We combine some of the information and some of the techniques from criminal justice with some computer science, and we form that with an accounting background into this particular type of a minor. It's kind of unique. Not many schools have this at the current time. So then we move on to economics. Economics is a very small major for us. All of our students take at least 2 courses in economics, but the major itself is small. However, we've had some very interesting students graduate from it, which put them into some very interesting positions. I had one student 2 years ago who graduated, and he's currently working for a bank in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, doing economic analysis for them. And since he had a programming background, he picked up a little bit of Python, and he's been doing quite a bit of programming for the bank as well. So our economics is very strong. We have wonderful instructors, and we're trying to grow this major. So it's very broad-based, has a broad application across many areas of business. Tied with economics, we have finance, which is one of our more popular majors. For any of you who listen to WBEN in the morning at like almost 7 o'clock, Ed Hutton gets on, and you'll hear him speaking about financial matters. He's one of our instructors. He teaches a lot of the investment classes. He also is very active with many of our students, and we end up taking trips to New York City, of which I have been on one of those. He went to London this year, that Dr. Frascatore joined him there. He also takes students to Toronto and to Chicago. So it's a very active group, and the opportunities in the major are really very broad. My son graduated with a finance degree, and he's now out in Oregon. So the opportunities, like I said, are very broad in that area. The next major we have is our management major. And this, for the college, is the largest group. So we break it down into 3 concentrations. We have what we call integrative management, or just general management, where students are interested and they follow a very generalized management course. A lot of students whose parents own businesses follow this because it allows them to pursue a specific area that'll be most valuable to their family. We have 3 other concentrations. One of them is supply chain, which looks at how materials move into and out of firms and within firms as well. We have human resources, which is looking at the human capital, and we also have international. And while I'm on the topic of this, I'm just going to put a little plug in for something that's going to happen on the 29th of April, is that there's a combination of our supply chain center along with our food marketing center, and we're hosting a panel of the top executives from Western New York. We're going to discuss the impact of the current pandemic situation on their supply chain, on how they run their businesses, and a lot of the management and concern that they have for their human capital that work with them. So there'll be more information about that coming out. As prospective students, you'll be hearing about this, but feel free to jump in. It's quite unusual to hear the vice presidents of Tops, Wegmans, Clorox, Rich Products, and Rosina Foods all in the same call discussing about things that they're concerned with and how they're dealing with the situation. The last major that we have is the marketing major. And that particular major is a typical marketing content, but we have a small sector of it, which is called our food and consumer packaged good minor. And that particular minor is directly linked with the food industry, and it affords our students a great opportunity to work in some of these top tier firms. We're also working on a couple of specializations within marketing. One of them has to do with digital marketing, and one of them has to do with the analytics that are involved with the marketing. So that is kind of a brief brush stroke of what's offered within the college and some of the specializations that we have.
Thank you, Dr. Renzel. And then Kirsten, can you just give us an overview now, a little bit about yourself and your role at Niagara, not your role, but being a student at Niagara?
So I have loved Niagara. I lived in Seton Hall, so that's one of the freshman dorms on campus. The CAs, which are the community advisors, really help you adapt to transitioning from high school to college. They make it a lot easier. I really liked all my professors I had in the business department this year too, because the small class sizes and the professors just really make an effort to get to know you. And I'm also in a club on campus called Love Your Melon, which is supporting people that have pediatric cancer. So we work a lot with the Ronald McDonald House, and we tried to work with Roswell Park, but that didn't work out this year because of everything that happened. And I
That's
also,
fine. Yeah. Oh, go
okay.
ahead. No,
No,
go ahead. Go ahead.
I also have a work study on campus, which if you qualify, I recommend doing it. I work with the Student Affairs Office where I was able to meet a lot of other great faculty members who are in the business department. And I think that helped my experience too.
Definitely. Thank you. And we'll come back to you with more information too. So now I was just going to see if we could all introduce ourselves, and I'll just call you out by name and you can go around and introduce yourselves. I was going to start real fast. Christine McDermott is here, our director of first year admissions at Niagara. So want to say hi, Chris?
Hello, everyone. Hope everything is going well. So happy that you were able to join us today, and I hope you gained some valuable information on your process of deciding where you're going to be next year. Obviously, I'm biased, and I'm hoping it's with us. So, but have a great afternoon here with us and enjoy.
Thank you, Chris.
You're welcome, Julie. Thank you.
Okay. Is everyone okay with that? If so, just give me if you know how to do the reactions on the bottom, if you want to just give me like a clapping or something, or just anything, and I can let you introduce yourself, or I'll know it's okay if I can call you. If you don't want to do it, you don't have to. So we can start with JJ. I know JJ very well.
Sorry about that. Okay, just had to
Hi,
move because
JJ.
my dad was. Hi, Julie.
Hi.
Sorry about that. Hi, everybody. I'm JJ. I am a senior at Loopport. I'll be attending NU in the fall. Be going into the school marketing. I'm looking forward to it. I don't really seem to have any questions right now, but if anything pops up, I'll bring it up, I guess.
Yeah, you can just type it in after too. Thank you so much,
Okay.
JJ.
No problem.
We can go to Robin now, if that's okay.
That's fine. Hi, I'm Robin.
Hi, Robin.
Hi, I just have one question about since COVID-19 is going on, if the classes are going to be made available online instead of in person.
Sure. I can answer that. Your question was if the classes are online or in person? Is that
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. All classes across New York State are now online. It's the mandate in New York State to avoid any kind of gatherings. We waited as long as we could. We wanted to, as much as we could, continue to have classes in the classroom as long as it was safe. But it was about right after our spring break in late March, we moved everything online. We took our spring break and the week after spring break, and we gave students we canceled those classes that week. And we used those 2 weeks to train our faculty and give them the hardware and software to get all their courses to move online. We also used that time to reach out to all of our students so that they were prepared at their homes to get online. If they had materials on campus that they left, we made sure that they got them in some way. So we used 2 solid weeks to get our faculty and our students prepared to start delivering online. And that's what we're doing until the end of the semester.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Incidentally, for the fall, obviously none of us has a crystal ball to know what's going to be happening in the fall, but we fully intend to have our students back here and in the seats by then. Of course, if it's safe, if the pandemic continues, we are going to be ready, and we will have our classes, but we'll have them online, and we'll be ready for all of our students for the incoming class next fall, no matter what happens.
Okay.
Thank you.
Can I jump in here just a little bit? Robin, if you're concerned about the online mode, I have been advising my students. We are all, as a faculty member, part of my obligation is to help guide our students. And we were very concerned about how our students would adapt to the online mode. And I was speaking to one of my advisees today, and he was explaining to me, he was saying that he didn't expect the online delivery to go very well, but he's been very stunned at exactly how well it is going. And he said he's learning almost more because our faculty have become adept at capturing what we're covering if we're doing a synchronous or a lecture. And he's able to go back and review difficult parts of the math class he's taken. And he said that I've never been good at math, he said, and this has just been amazing the last couple of weeks. So what Dr. Frescatore was saying with regard to how our faculty have really stepped up to the plate, and they're doing their absolute best. And I think our courses, from what I'm hearing, are almost better as a result of this. So some good things perhaps will emerge from this.
Okay, great. Thank you. That's good info.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to introduce themselves and just say where you've gone to high school and what specific major? Isaiah, welcome.
Can you hear me? All right, cool. Hi, my name is Isaiah Beverett. I'm a senior at Cardinal O'Hara High School, and hopefully I should be committing to Niagara within 2 or 3 days. And I'm planning on majoring in accounting and hopefully minoring in fraud and security to work for the IRS one day. So
Awesome. You have great goals.
yeah.
Do you have a question for us or later?
Yeah, you might be able to answer it later, but my main question is internships. Like, how do y'all work with like interning, like internships, or like do the school like helps with certain majors? Like,
yeah, I'll be happy to answer that for you. So in accounting in particular, the companies come to Niagara and they ask our faculty and me and our associate dean, can you please send us an accounting student to an internship with our company this summer? And the truth is, with accounting especially, there are more positions available than we have students. Every single student gets one, especially in accounting. And accounting has, upon graduation, 100% placement rate. Every single one of our accounting majors when they graduate has a job in 3 months. So if you're an accounting major, that's going to be a complete non-issue for you. You'll have internships.
Awesome. And I have one more question. Okay, so I was hoping, hopefully I want to get my CPA. Now, how do you work with students trying to get their CPA in accounting?
Sure. Anne, maybe you'd like to talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so Isaiah, the way we're handling the CPA preparation is that you might want to consider coming in as a 4+1 student, and what we call it. So you come in as an accounting student, but you've declared that you want to pursue your CPA, which requires an extra year. The way it works is that you complete your undergraduate at about 126 credits, but you have to have 150 credits in order to sit for the CPA. So you roll into our MBA or our graduate program. But how we help with getting you prepared for the CPA in that program is we have a 1 or a 2 semester preparation course that we run that gives you lots of practice, and it's taught by a content area experts. So the expert in auditing teaches that part of the class that has to do with the auditing. The content area person who is expert in tax teaches that portion of the class. So by the time you have finished your undergraduate plus the extra year, you're very well prepared for the exams. And we have students taking the exams continuously. We've had a couple pass them within a month ago or so. They were telling me that they had passed another one of their CPA exams. Also, at Niagara, like I mentioned earlier, all of our faculty carry CPAs. So we're very well versed in exactly what it takes and the content area and the knowledge base that's necessary. So we're a little bit different that way. We do have a very eclectic group of faculty that work in the accounting department.
That's pretty cool. And I have one more question. So you said for the 4-in-1 program, 4+1.
Yes.
Now, how would I go by like deciding like that's something I want to do? I have time like after my first semester to
Yes.
like use that. Okay.
Yeah, the way our whole curriculum works in the College of Business is all incoming freshmen, you don't have to decide immediately what you want to do. You come in, basically, we keep everybody in the same courses for the first year. It is in the second year in accounting that you have to focus because you're picking up a class called intermediate accounting. There's two sections. There's two, intermediate accounting 1 and an intermediate accounting 2. You as a accounting person have to make that decision by your sophomore year. How you wish to move through, if you're going to do the 4+1 or just be a standard regular accounting student in taking the 4-year curriculum, that can be made. And that can be made in conjunction with discussing it with the accounting professors. As Julie says, our professors work a tremendous amount with our students. They know how best to guide you, and we depend on them for that purpose.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Isaiah. Would anyone else like to go next and introduce yourself? Okay, that's totally fine.
Julie, let me make one more comment on Isaiah's last question. He had asked if he needs to make a decision on the 4+1 anytime soon. The truth is that any of our undergraduate students are eligible to the MBA in 1 more year. So you get everything you need as an undergraduate, no matter what your major is, as long as you're in the College of Business. So that's a decision that you don't have to start making until your junior year or even your senior year.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions that they would like to drop in our chat box below? That way it's completely anonymous and you can just kind of type it in and we can answer it.
Julie,
for
I
you.
have a question.
Okay, JJ.
So on top of just like getting an internship, like marketing internship, whatever, will it be paid, or is there no way to be paid, or is that dependent on the company or NU?
It depends on the company, but they're almost all paid for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
JJ, I'll also chime in on this one. We do not suggest any of our students take unpaid internships unless it's in a very eclectic area that they never receive compensation. We're in the College of Business, we're very focused on the fact that our students add a great deal of value to a firm when they have hired them as an intern, and they should be compensated at some level. Compensation should not be very high, but you should be compensated.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
In my experience, the internships that are unpaid, sometimes those tend to be international internships in other countries. So the student wants to go and they're willing to take an unpaid one just so they could live in Spain, for example, and get that additional experience as well. But as Jan said, the internships here in the US, they're paid.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. I have a question about college credits that you have taken in high school, and will they transfer over? The answer is yes, as long as you did well in the class. We just need your transcripts from the other schools. So for example, when I went to Newport, I took Niagara County Community College Spanish courses, which transferred over. And then I took APs, which transferred over, as long as you have around a 3, 4, or 5, sometimes it's different for sciences. And then I also had the new step credits that are already at Niagara that transferred over to, like an example, that would be, I think it's a political class, government. And that transferred over too. So the question to that, or the answer to that is yes, they will transfer over. Just make sure that you get us all the right documentation and those will transfer over. I also have another question about when will you register for classes? That will take place during summer orientation, which is still scheduled for July. So after you commit to Niagara and put down your deposit, you're allowed to go in through the portal on the Purple Pass on MyNU and answer a ton of different questions. And also you get to select your summer orientation date. At that point, that's when you'll be working with an advisor to make your class schedule. So you don't have to worry too much about that until summer orientation. And if there are any changes with summer orientation, we will get to you on those as well. I have another really good question. Can you explain studying abroad within business, and especially the accounting major if possible? And does financial aid come into play for studying abroad? Dr. Frescatore, maybe?
Sure. Yeah, so studying abroad, there are basically two ways that you can do it. Many students will choose a full semester study abroad, and that means that we have partnerships with universities all around the world, and you would go and plan for one full semester abroad. That's something obviously you need to plan carefully, especially as an accounting major, because accounting it's kind of unique in the sense that there's a lot of courses that depend on each other. And when you study abroad, that has to be planned very carefully, because it's never guaranteed that the other university, especially a foreign university with accounting, has the correct courses for you. So that's something you'll be working with your advisor and the assistant dean to plan. But the answer is yes, you can, and we encourage every student to do that in some way. We also have these 2 to 3 week trips led by professors that go every year. There was one went last May and was again planning to go this May for accounting. So last year's class, one of our accounting professors, Dr. Ian Burt, brought a group of accounting students to Ireland, and they visited accounting firms, companies, and their accounting departments. They tasted the local food, they traveled, they had some fun as well, in addition to their business visits. And that, I think, was about 10 days. Just this past January, I went with a finance professor. I'm an economist by training, and a finance professor and I brought a group of about 10 students to London, and we studied the financial system in England and in Europe. And again, that was 10 days. We also spent a lot of time visiting the sites there, Buckingham Palace and other museums. So there are trips like this that go all the time. And the truth is, with trips like that, you can sometimes influence where they go, because those trips are not set in stone. So you might want to go to a professor and say, would you be able to take us to China this year? And maybe they will. So if you can get a group of students who's interested in going to China or Hong Kong or anywhere else, you might be able to get a trip going. So those types of trips go all the time. And personally, I think every single student should take advantage of that and do some sort of study abroad trip in some way.
Thank you. Another quick question. What resources does Niagara University have to help me if I have problems in a class? Would these resources be available if classes are online too? Maybe Dr. Renzel?
So Niagara University has a very deep and broad infrastructure to help students. We have a learning support center that provides all types of tutoring, and it also provides a great deal of just support for students who are struggling a little bit in the classes. I think more importantly for students to remember is that your first best resource is your instructor or your professor for your class. Contrary to some schools, all of us really like to have students come visit us. I mean, we do office hours, we're required to have office hours, but office hours are just a heck of a lot more fun if students come to visit us. So with that in mind, if you're having a problem in a class, go seek out the professor to see if they can provide help first, and if it's more extensive, then you can take advantage of the other resources. With regard to the aspect of the supports being online, obviously, we're all becoming much more fluent in using Zoom to help students at this point in time, but also all the support staff and all the support services have moved online as well, so they are as available as before. The peer tutoring is being done online right now. All of those other supports that make you academically successful are in place now, and they will be there whether we're online or in person in the fall. We've gotten quite good at this. It's taken 2 weeks, but we've gotten quite good at this.
Thank you. And then just to add on to that real quick, Dr. Renzel, how is the college making sure that students are staying on track with everything academically?
A large push from our provost was to work and make sure that the advisement processes were all in place so that we could be effective in interfacing with our students. And as this is right now advisement period, we're meeting with all of our students that we're assigned in order to make sure that they're following a good academic track, that they're doing well. And quite frankly, for those last 2 weeks, I have been advising students, 3, 4, 5 students a day via Zoom, just going over their curriculum and making sure they're being guided in the correct direction. This is going on all across the university. So there is no doubt that all of our students are being guided, and the advice that they're being given as to how to proceed through their academic careers is being given. That time also with the faculty gives us a chance to talk to you about your career plans. I try to find out, what my students want to do, how best that we can meet those needs. I have a couple of students who've told me, well, I'm not really happy in management now. I think I'm going to move to marketing. That's fine. We'll help you move to marketing to find what you really like to do the best, because if you like what you do, you're going to do better in it. And that's really what across the whole college, we're trying to make sure that you have a successful career and that you like what you're doing.
Thank you very, very much.
Let me follow up on that, Julie, if I could.
Go ahead.
As Ann had mentioned a little bit, you don't need to declare a major when you come into the College of Business. Indeed, I recommend students not to. So if you know you want to be a business student, and let's say, Isaiah, you want to be an accounting student, just come in as a business student and take the courses in your freshman year. Maybe you'll find out you don't like accounting, and then you might want to switch to marketing or something like that. There is really no need to declare your major before you get here. So just come in as a business student and then go from there. That's perfectly fine.
Thank you. We have a question about class sizes. The average class size at Niagara is around 19 students per class. Would you say in business classes, what would you say the average class size is?
That's about right. The introductory classes tend to be a little bit bigger, maybe up to 30, but then the upper level classes can be 10, 12, 15, something like that. So yeah, the business classes, they're about the same as they would be with the university. They're very small and very intimate types of classes. What you'll also find is our faculty they're not just professors, they're not just these ivory tower researchers who kind of hide in their office and do research. They're also practitioners. So these are business people. They've been in industry. They have experience. And Dr. Rensel continues to do consulting now. So these are people who have been out there and they know people. So it's not unusual to say, okay, class, on Thursday, we're going to go visit Prax Air and we're going to tour their facility and see what things are like there. So those types of things happen all the time.
Awesome. Thank you. We have a quick question about, can you double major in the College of Business? I know that wouldn't be something you declare right away, but when can you declare double major and what works together well?
You can. Maybe Ann would like to talk a little bit more about that. It takes a lot of planning because you need to take more classes.
Right.
And depending on what the majors are, you may need to take a class in the summer or overload a class. But let Ann talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so double majoring means that you would have a major in the College of Business and perhaps a major in the College of Arts and Sciences. And it is totally doable, but as Dr. Frascator said, you have to be sure that you organize yours and structure how you go through your curriculum. It's also really handy if you bring in some credits as an entering freshman from taking courses at a community college or taking AP courses, so that gives you some extra class slots that can be filled. But it certainly can be done. We had a student who graduated with a BS in economics and a BA in mathematics, and she's away studying right now. We've had other students who double major in computer science and accounting. That is an extremely powerful combination right now. The whole point though is that this is where, what I was alluding to a few minutes ago with regard to advisors, this is where your advisor becomes incredibly useful to you, because you can sit and plot your path so that you can accomplish both of these both of these goals that you have within the 4 years, but you would have to perhaps take a couple of summer classes or catch some classes at outside of the university, say from some community colleges, in order to get the credits into play. But again, it's something you would work on with your advisor and potentially with the assistant dean, just depending on the complexity of the situation that you want to set up for yourself.
One more quick question going back to study abroad. It's a two-sided question. A little bit more information on how financial aid may help. Maybe there's different grants I've heard about. And then also, is there tutoring abroad if you're struggling with your coursework abroad? Maybe Dr. Preston.
Very good questions, actually. For financial aid, if you're doing a semester abroad, the financial aid that applies and the tuition that you pay is the same as you would get otherwise. So that will apply to study a regular semester study abroad. Typically, the 2-week or 3-week ones, I don't know that there's much, if there's, maybe Ann can answer this, but I don't know if historically there's been financial aid made available for those trips. Ann, would you know, have any background in that?
For the ones that are within semester, for example, the one Mr. Hutton took to London, that one fell with what we call within semester. So it would fall within what we call your block tuition. So if you're getting financial aid for your academics, it would fall right in there. You would have to pay for the travel expenses, but for the actual credits that you receive, they fall within your regular semester. The one that Mr. Burt ran last year, or Dr. Burt ran last year to Ireland, that was a little different. That fell into a summer session. And so summer classes do have some opportunity for financial aid, but you'd have to work with our financial aid office on that to set that up. So depending on where the smaller ones fall, depends on how the aid can be helpful to you. That's all I know. Okay.
Thank you very much. Quick question about student to teacher ratio, which does kind of go back to the small class sizes. So, you know, if there's one professor, there may be 20, 25, 30 students in the class. I hope that helps a little bit, Isaiah. But I have a quite interesting question too here. For Niagara, offering different clubs, let's see here. Okay, in the business program, we were wondering if Niagara participates in competitions with other schools and if they attend conferences for business.
Yeah, all the time. So I'll give a quick answer, and I'm sure Ann would like to follow up. And maybe Kirsten has been involved with it too, so I'll give her a chance to talk too, if she's been experienced with it. But for every major, we have some sort of club or 1 or 2 or more clubs associated with it. So in marketing, for example, there's the Niagara University Marketing Association, or NUMA. We have a finance club. We have an economics honor society. We have a supply chain club. And they very frequently do competitions. They go to conferences. They're professor-led, so the professor trains them and goes with them. We host conferences at Niagara University that our students engage in. So the answer is this happens all the time, yeah. And incidentally, many of these conferences, the industry pays for. So a group of our students last year went down to Miami, Florida for a marketing conference, and it was completely paid for the students.
Yeah, and also this past year, we had the Clorox Corporation come to our campus, and they opened up a competition for our students to basically do an analysis of a variety of products that are in the Clorox group that they sell. And then they did the analysis, and then they presented the next day. Then off of the group that presented, some students were chosen to participate in an internship with them this coming summer. Hopefully it'll still go forward.
They made them job offers right there on the spot. Mm-hmm.
Right. So the whole issue with the idea of conferences, competitions, we want our students to be involved. It's almost, we feel very badly at times that we can't get more students working with us to do more things. So we're looking for energetic students who want to become engaged and say, hey, I'll give it a try. You know, in the Clark's competition, we had a freshman. This is his first semester on campus. This is back in, I don't know, late November or something. And he said, oh, what the heck? And his team came in second in this competition. So what a great opportunity for him. So we're just looking for students. The faculty are always happy to do things. We just need the students to help us.
Thank you very much. Can we ask a quick question about the honors program within the College of Business?
Sure.
Thank
The
you.
honors program the honors program is not within any particular college. Any student at the university can engage in the honors program. And what that means is that there are research requirements that they have, there are courses that they need to take for the honors program, but any student of any major can be eligible to do it. So let's say if you have a finance student who is in the honors program, that student will take what we call enhanced courses within their major. So they will take finance courses in which they have an additional honors project in that course. The other students in the class don't have, but they have to do additional research and explore that a little bit more. So any student at the university can engage in the honors program and does an honors thesis.
Thank you very much. I have a question about, will students find jobs after graduating from Niagara with a business degree? Which, yes, they will. But Dr. Renzel or Dr. Freskesworth?
Sure, I'll answer, and I'm sure Ann might have some additional data too. The placement rate of our students is 97%. And what that means, these are our graduates. And what that means is 3 months after graduation, 97% of our students either have jobs or are in graduate school. Varies a little bit by major. Like I said, accounting is 100%, but overall 97% of our students have jobs within 3 months. So the answer is yes, our students find jobs.
And within supply chain, it's the same as accounting. We cannot fulfill the supply chain requests for employers. In order to support this, just so you're aware, is we have embedded not job training, I don't like to call it that, career preparation right within our classes. So it's not a case of you having to figure out how to go find an internship, how to prepare a resume, how to be ready for an interview to get these types of jobs. We prepare you in one of the classes that's in your junior year. So what it does for you, you become very familiar and very comfortable with the career services personnel, and they're the ones who can be very helpful in finding the jobs. All of us push internships tremendously. It is a valuable experience that cannot be duplicated. And within the college curriculum, you could do 2 internships. You can get 6 total credits, 4 internships if you wish, and if that's the way you want to move forward. We have that built right into our curriculum. You don't have to, but we highly recommend it.
Okay. Another question coming in, how does Niagara's College of Business differentiate from other university and colleges' College of Business?
Sure, we pride ourselves on having, well, first of all, the faculty. As I mentioned before, our faculty are not just researchers. They don't just sit in their office and do scholarship, but they're also practitioners. So they have industry experience. They know people in industry. They hook students up with people in industry. Our classes are all pretty small, and that's by design. We don't even have classrooms big enough to hold more than 40, 50 students. So our classes are small by design. Our faculty bring students out into the field to show them what it's like. They help them with internships. I mean, we have a personal touch all throughout the 4 years of our program, starting even before a student gets there.
Awesome, thank you. Does Niagara have any relationships with companies out of state when it comes to internships, specifically in supply chain and in general?
I'll speak to the supply chain. Yes, we do. We have relationships with Hunt, which is anyone who knows trucks running up and down the highway. They're very large. We have placed students with Hunt in that particular area. We have a student and everyone loves this particular example. So we have a student who took a job with edible arrangements over in Connecticut. And if you wouldn't think the supply chain for edible arrangements is very interesting, when he stopped back, he was in charge of the complete banana supply going to all of the small shops in the whole Northeast. So from an out-of-state perspective, we have very deep connections that we can help place students in jobs and positions. I'm not saying that we do internships out of state as much. I believe that that's an area that our career services people are trying to develop, but job placement, we have students that have gone in multiple directions out of our area. We have one person in the supply chain area in particular who joined us, ended up in California because he applied to a job in procurement. And right now, I believe he's up in Saskatchewan, and he is the chief procurement officer for one of the major medical providers in that particular region. And he's just amazing. And we have another one who is in charge of Labatt Beer, or Labatt Incorporated, and he is one of the larger operations managers, and he travels both Rochester all the way through the West Coast. So we have students all over. It's more of a case of deciding where you want to be, and then we can hook you up with probably someone in that particular region.
Mm-hmm. We have, I'll just add to that, we have a student he's a recent marketing grad. He's now effectively a project manager with Google in California. He started with Yahoo coming out of Niagara University. We have students who work for Amazon in all parts of the country, including Arizona. If you are an accounting major, many of our accounting graduates stay in Western New York only because there are lots of accounting positions here. But the truth is, as a CPA, you can go virtually anywhere in the US that you want. So there's a lot of comity between states with what a CPA requirements are. So you can get registered in different states. And with accounting, you can move pretty much anywhere you want.
Thank you very much. We have a question about specifically the Accounting Society and the Finance Club and what you do as a part of that club, those clubs.
Anne, do you want to talk about that?
Sure. The Accounting Society is a very active group. They do a lot of outreach, and most importantly, they're heavily involved with the VITA program, which is the volunteer income tax group who prepare income tax for economically disadvantaged people. We have one of the largest and one of the oldest VITA programs in the nation. I calculated it 2 years ago. I haven't done it for this current year, but 2 years ago, our VITA students brought about $500,000 in refunds back into the economy of Niagara Falls. It is a significant impact. They're very deeply involved with this. Dr. Burt is ahead of this, and he has expanded this particular set of programs outwards so that not only do they work now in Niagara Falls, but now they are moving out into Genesee County. I'm trying to bring them here into Sanborn to do some work with some of the disadvantaged people in this area. So this is a very active group within the college. With regard to the Finance Club, they do a variety of activities. Mr. Hutt really likes to travel. That's why they move into different places. But he also happens to be a former mountain climber who also runs marathons. So he puts together various activities, and one that unfortunately has to be canceled is his 5K run that he put together to do a fundraising for his students. So it's a variety of things that are in places like that. I do want to comment about exactly what traveling with Mr. Hutton is like. Like Dr. Frascator went to London with him. I went to New York City with him, and it was a real surreal situation for me because I was just tagging along, and I find myself eating lunch and around the 10th floor of a very wealthy bond trading firm overlooking the Brooklyn Bridge. And it was just so amazing to have the opportunity to talk to the person who started this multi-billion-dollar firm. He sat in the room with us eating lunch. He happened to be a friend of Ed's. So that was really, it's just a real interesting experience. And as students, you're welcome to join any of these. I mean, it's up to you to make the decision. I mean, you could have these type of experiences as well.
Thank you. So
Let me add to that, Ann, that the Finance Club actually manages a fund with the university endowment. And the fund is worth, I think it's about $200,000 of stocks and companies that the Finance Club manages. And I mean, they truly, the students manage this fund, and the university entrusts them. And it's under the guidance of Professor Hutton, who kind of watches over and gives advice to what they should be doing. But they take care of this fund themselves, and they trade. Now, and you had mentioned having lunch over the river with Professor Hutton in London. We had lunch over at JP Morgan on the 20th floor overlooking the River Thames. So yeah, I know what you're talking about.
it's a great place. So I know we're probably wrapping up soon, but I have kind of 3 questions in one about internships. Number one, when can you first do an internship? Specifically, could you even start in your sophomore year? Number 2, what types of internships are available specifically for business management majors and maybe a little bit of everyone? And then one more thing about internships is, do our alumni work with us for internships? Which I know the question is yes, but start with Dr. Frescatore.
Sure. So the question when to start them, we've actually had students start them after their freshman year. The truth is, normally they would be after your junior year. That would be typical. And let me mention that a lot of companies, what they're doing these days is they're not just hiring graduates. They want to hire graduates who have already done internships with them. So let me take Rich Products, for example. Rich Products, many of our students do internships with Rich Products, and then they come back and they finish their senior year and they graduate, and then Rich Products hires them for full time. A lot of companies are choosing that model because it's good for the company, because they can see it's kind of a probationary time for the students, for the interns, and the interns learn about the company. So maybe they know, oh, Rich Products, I think now I know that I want to work for this company or not. So it's a good model on both sides. So when to do them, like I say, after junior year would be typical, but we have students doing them after sophomore and junior year. And we've even had some students do them after freshman, sophomore, and junior year 3 times.
I'll chime in here as well, especially for Isaiah, who's interested in accounting. We visit Freed Maxick in Buffalo on a frequent basis, and Freed Maxick has been very clear that they are starting to hire and look for interns at the end of the sophomore year. What they're trying to do is establish a relationship with these students, because accounting students are hard to come by. Literally, we cannot fulfill the demand for accounting students. We have firms calling frequently saying, well, we need one. We're like, we don't have any. So what Freed has been doing is they've been bringing students in the sophomore year, perhaps not doing any very deep accounting, but getting used to the firm culture. Then they return back for their junior year and then move in, and perhaps even the senior year if they're going on into studying for their CPA. Freed started it. Dobkins, I believe, is now moving in that direction. And those are 2 of your major firms in Buffalo that are going in that particular direction. The question also had to be about what types of internships do management students have. This one, I'm still trying to think some really good examples. They do a variety. We have students who go to Praxair. We have students who go to, in the logistics area, we have people who work for Flex Logistics. We have the human resources area. We had a student in human resources working for 2 years for Barry's Ice Cream in Akron as a human resource person. I'm still filtering through what other ones we've had.
And also, and some finance internships, because banking is very big in Western New York. So M&T Bank has hired many of our students to do internships and then hires them afterwards as well. So for our finance folks, there's plenty of opportunity there as well.
And Citigroup also is a huge a source of internships for our students. And many times our students will intern there, work at Citigroup for several years, and then move on into some other area. We have good relationships with all of these major employers in the area, and students do very well when they go there.
Does anyone have any, oh, it looks like we do have one more question here. Let's see. How are you developing the new marketing specializations in data analysis and digital media when you plan to, and when do you plan to have them fully running?
Julie, can you say that again? You cut out
Yes.
on me a little bit.
How are you developing the new marketing specializations in data analysis and digital media, and when do you plan to have them fully running?
Well, the truth is that those courses mainly exist right now. So students can take courses in social media and digital marketing and things like that. So the courses are already there. We are actually putting forward a proposal right now to make it a formal concentration. And what that will mean is that you can put it on your resume to say, I majored in marketing with a concentration in social media or digital marketing. So it's already there. We just need to, we're just going to formalize it into a concentration now.
Thank you very much, everyone. I just wanted to, okay, we have one more question and then I'll see if anyone else has any last questions too. So what is the average cost for studying abroad in 2 to 3 week programs in case you do not catch it? Okay. The average cost for studying abroad for like a 2 or 3 week study abroad trip.
The trip that we took, honestly, I don't know what the average is, but the trip that I just took to London was, I believe, $3,000 in total for 10 days.
Thank you very much.
That includes everything: flight, room, board, tickets, transportation, everything, except for whatever else that they want to spend it on. So that includes all the essentials.
Thank you. And I do see it kind of change a little bit from year to year. Like sometimes there's different grants that when you're working with your advisor, they can help pull for you, and it's kind of based on different situations, case by case. So hopefully when it's your turn, there'll be something on the table as far as that goes. We also have a question about, let's see, as a transfer student, so we do have a transfer student here, how will the class registration work virtually on the 24th? In previous discussions, it was still up in the air. So we do have our director of transfer here, Mark, and he will answer it for us.
Yeah, hey everybody. Well, first of all, congratulations to everybody, whether you're a freshman or a first-year student or a transfer student coming in. We are thrilled to have you as part of our family. To answer the transfer question, we just sent out an email today that's going to break everything out. So Dina Martin, you should be getting an email from Niagara. If you haven't gotten it, you already will. Essentially what's happening is that over this week and next week, prior to the transfer registration day, for those transfers that are on, it is the 24th. That day will work as an orientation day, meaning that you'll come online similar to what we're doing here at 10 o'clock in the morning, and we will go over some orientation information that you need to know as a new student coming into the university. Prior to that, you're going to be contacted by College of Business, and they'll reach out to you. Whoever's going to be working with that, working with them, probably be Kelly Asklar, be reaching out to you, right, Mark? It'd be Kelly? Yep, okay. So Kelly will be reaching out to you to do your advisement. So you'll have either a conversation like this or over the phone or over email, whichever is most convenient for you and Kelly to get together and to do that. So you'll be advised. Then you'll go through the process on the 24th, which is the orientation day. And then essentially we flick the switch that we allow then the classes that you've been advised on, we would register you for the classes at that point. So the great thing is that you're going to get that personal connection to your advisor in the College of Business, be able to work with them and get everything set, and get that in motion before you actually come to the orientation session on the 24th. If for whatever reason you didn't get a hold of Kelly before that day, it's not a problem. You would just get advised and registered after the fact. Because remember, we don't start registering all of our first-year students until a little bit later. So our transfer students are our upperclassmen coming in, and you're going to kind of get some of your classes that you need. I hope that answers the question. Just let me know on the side if not, and I can certainly reach out to you if you have any other questions.
Thank you, Mark.
Yeah, absolutely, Julia.
So I'm thinking our last question today may be about how many minors would be reasonable to have at Niagara in the College of Business, or maybe even a minor within a different college that might work well.
Yeah, I can answer this quickly. Maybe Ann has seen more experience here as well, but normally one major and one minor would be a pretty good combination. It's doable. One major and two minors I've seen, but then that becomes a little like a double major, which gets more difficult. So, and beyond that, I would say it becomes obviously increasingly difficult. You need to take extra courses over the summer and things like that. But one major and one minor definitely is doable.
Yeah, I agree with Dr. Frescatore there. One major, one minor is quite doable. It depends again, though, on how many classes, how many credits you're bringing in. I mean, sometimes from your high school, if you're bringing in almost a half a year or a year's worth of credits, because you've gone to community colleges and you've picked up, credits along the way, that really frees up your ability to explore more things. I think on the whole, one major, one minor, and like I said, if you need to extend that, again, you're working with your advisor quite heavily in order to make sure that all goes through.
Thank you very much. Does anyone have any questions we can just answer right now for you? If you do, you can maybe do one of those reactions for me or type it in, but I do think we had a great session today, so I'm really happy that all of you joined, and thank you so much. We're looking forward to actually seeing you in person as soon as we can, and we hope that all of you stay healthy, and do not hesitate to reach out to me. I can even type my cell phone number in the chat here, so if anyone has any questions, you could text me, and then I could forward you off to your counselor or answer it for you. So I just put that in. Dr. Frescatore, do you want to say anything before we?
No, just want to thank everybody for coming today. I mean, I know this is unusual. We're certainly doing everything we can, and I know you are too. But I'm glad we got lots of really good questions. In fact, we got more good questions here than we often do in a normal face-to-face open house. So I want to thank you all for that. I hope you had all of your questions answered. I hope you learned a lot today. I am always available by email at frascatore@niagara.edu. And feel free to contact me anytime. I'd be happy to talk to you as well.
Thank you, everyone. And I hope you have a great night. And we look forward to seeing you soon.